Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the chairman's leadership on Ukraine. I appreciate the chairman and the ranking member's show of unity on Ukraine. And I agree with the chairman and the ranking member that we do need to show unity as a country in defense of the Ukrainian resistance. But that's precisely why I supported Ukrainian assistance and why I stand in support of this resolution of inquiry. And I think there's no reason why we need to be disunified or not unified when it comes to accountability, transparency, and making sure that our assistance is actually working. I would argue that, and I concur with the comments of many of my colleagues, and many of the arguments have already been made, so I won't belabor the points. But I think one point that has not been made is that we want to make sure that the strategy is working. If you truly support the Ukrainian resistance, if you truly want to defeat the Russian aggression, then why on earth would we not want a full accounting of how our assistance is actually being delivered, how it's being used, as my colleague Mr. Smith just pointed out, whether or not this administration's resistance to deliver some of the weapon systems that have been specifically requested, whether or not that is having a bearing on the effectiveness of the Ukrainian resistance. So I would argue, number one, to rebut Mr. Connolly's argument, it's not now, the time is not now to conduct this oversight. It is always time to conduct oversight to make sure that our strategy is actually working. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want? We want the Ukrainians to succeed in repelling the Russian aggression and the Russian invasion. If we don't have transparency, the American taxpayers don't know whether or not their generosity is actually being delivered in a way that is delivering victory, then we're not doing our job. And I would just share this one anecdote. I met a young man, a Ukrainian soldier, who returned from the battlefield in the Battle of Mariupol without a leg. He woke up in a coma in a Russian prison. He was released in a prisoner exchange, 7 Russian soldiers for him, and his name was Vladimir. And I told him about my constituents, the taxpayers who had sent me to Washington to vote on these issues of Ukrainian assistance. And I say this as someone who voted for $40 billion in assistance to Ukraine. And I told this young, brave, courageous freedom fighter that some American taxpayers don't understand what this is about. And I asked him to tell me what he wanted me to tell my constituents about what this was all about. And he said, first of all, say thank you to the American people for delivering this assistance, but secondly, tell them that this is not just about Ukraine. This is about humanity and civilization. And that inspires me. And I want to make sure that we're actually supporting the cause that Vladimir fought for in an effective way. And to do that, we need accountability. We need information from this administration that the assistance that the American taxpayer is delivering is working. And so I'll just conclude by saying I do not believe this measure will diminish public support. I think this measure is required for continued American taxpayer support. So with that, I urge my colleagues to support the resolution. No, it's not about a blank check. If you don't have an accounting, the American taxpayers can think nothing other than this is a blank check. We need to restore confidence in American taxpayers in order to continue the vital assistance that's needed here. And let me just say one other thing, and that is that where is this administration on closing the loophole in sanctions? Where is this administration on fighting Russia in an effective way? By unleashing American energy. You want to crush Russia? Then we need a reversal of this administration's war against American energy. That's what we need to do. Don't give me this nonsense that we need unity. You want unity? You want to crush the Russian aggressors? Unleash American energy dominance again. That's how we win this war. That's how we help Ukrainians. That's how we unite our country in support of the Ukrainian people. And I'll yield to my friend from Tennessee.